Oops. Perfect. So the first example of these, and I guess the most sort of foundational to the physics ideas that we're going to cover, are velocity and acceleration. Okay. So these are two quantities that we see a lot of, and they're probably very familiar to you in terms of something you've thought about before. Velocity is this idea that we have the amount of time, the amount of distance that you're traveling, or displacement in this case for velocity, is the technical term, divided by the time is going to give us the overall velocity. So if you take away the quantities and you just write the units for those, as we saw before, the SI units, then we're going to get m over s, which is the same as writing m with s to the power of -1. So hopefully you're all familiar with the idea that dividing by a unit is the same as timesing by a unit to the power of -1, because s to the power of -1 is the same as 1 over s. Okay, is everyone familiar with that? Everyone's able to, because obviously we have a range of educational backgrounds. People have done a different amount of schooling so far. So just wanted to check, everyone's familiar with this idea that a unit to the power of -1 is the same as writing that unit underneath 1. Is everyone familiar with that? Just give me a nod or a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Amy, have you seen this concept before? Because I didn't see a thumbs up.
No.
Okay, good. So that's good. We could. It's always important to make sure everyone's on the same page. So basically, it's this idea in maths that we're having the quantities here with their units, and the same for time, right? We've got the quantity of time and the unit next to it. So we want to come to get a unit for velocity, right? So some combination of these things will come together to make velocity happen. Now, the way to do that is by looking at, like we mentioned, the amount of distance traveled divided by the amount of time, because then we're basically finding how much have you traveled in that 1 second, and that will give us some idea of velocity. The more displacement that you have per second, the more velocity you're going to have. Does that make sense, Amy? Okay, good. So that means that to find the unit, we're going to, like I said before, we remove the sort of quantities themselves from the equation, and what we're left with is m over s. Okay, so these are just now talking in base units of displacement and time. So m over s can also be written as m times 1 over s. Okay, that's the same thing. This is the same thing as that. Now, 1 over s is also the same thing as s to the power of -1. So we've probably come across the idea that when we have, for example, s squared, that's going to be equal to s times s, right? We've probably come across that in our maths studies before. But actually, s to the power of -1